a very, very long time. And I'll tell you why. They're supposed to be positive. Religion should make you feel positive. It should bring good things and light to your life. It should bring love and positivity. But unfortunately, all these popular religions are fear-based. They rule off of fear. They teach off of fear. If you do this, you're going to burn. If you do this, so you can't even walk through a store, and if you see someone attractive, and these religious people, and they're like, and they have a impure thought, they're like, oh, I'm going to burn. So we're living in a life of fear, and I think, that I actually believe, and I'm not the only one that operates on this high level with these parasitic entities, they're not ghosts of the dead. We actually believe that they're a life form, and we can go far back beyond where some of the oldest texts talk about archons being parasitic life forms, and they're the same things. They're still here, and they're parasitic life forms that feed off emotional frequencies from us, and the strongest frequency that they feed off of is fear. So what better way is to create a religion that's fear-based, that gets us all to buy into it, so we're living in a world of fear. We're living in fear within ourselves. If we think this, we're going to burn. If we do this, we're going to burn. So we're giving these things what they need, not only individually, but globally. They got us controlled. And so what you just said is exactly what I've been thinking for a long time. I believe a lot of these religions may have been, made by these parasitic entities, or these entities that are feeding off of our emotional frequencies, such as fear and others, vulnerable states of being. I mean, absolutely 100%.
Well, that's how I feel. And also, I'm going to just say, like I say this almost every night, my feeling is, yes, we're being visited. We've been, I think, controlled one way or another since man first walked the earth, and we just don't realize it. And I think that there are aliens walking on this planet right now. And, the majority of the people don't even realize it. And abductions is one thing. I think because I think there's so many different, just like there's different nationalities, there's different species of aliens, and we're probably being found out on a regular basis by another species, and they're curious what makes us tick, what your thoughts are, what your emotions are, what your body functions are. And that's why you have the abductions, where you have the mutilations with cows and cattle, or even humans, which has happened over in the rainforest. It's happened over in Brazil and quite a few other places where they have found human bodies that had been mutilated the same way that the cattle have been.
No, absolutely, yeah. But to get back to the religion thing real quick, and then I want to touch on your point too, is and just so everyone knows, I'm not anti-religion. I think spirituality is very important. It's got to be positive. It's got to be love-based. I don't believe that hate is the opposite of love as an equivalent. I absolutely believe fear is the opposite of love as an equivalent, and fear keeps us from so much personally, and but these religions, a lot of them are horrible. I mean, they keep us living in a state of fear, and I think these parasites thrive on that, or I know they do. So that's why I think. Now, here's an example. I've helped a lot of people over the years, dealt with a lot of parasitic attachments, a lot of hauntings, and some of the worst cases came from people that claim to be very religious, go to church every Sunday, but the problem is they're practicing the wrong way, or they're going to the wrong congregation or whatever, where it's totally focused on the fear factor, which if you do this, you're going to burn, instead of, love thy neighbor type of thing, and so now they all go to the religion to try to get rid of to get rid of this entity, and it doesn't work, and then they call me. And now, if religion was going to work to get rid of the negative attachment, why didn't it not work to circumvent it to begin with? Because you were already religious to begin with. So there's something missing there, and I realized that a long time ago. And so when I put these processes to identify trends, because I've gone in after hundreds of clergy, priests and stuff, and demonologists, and how come their tactics never work? I mean, sometimes it works. Why does it work sometimes, but most of the time it doesn't? Sometimes it works for a little while, and then it gets worse. It comes back worse, I mean. So why is that? And so I realized that when it works inadvertently, because it had a positive effect on the person and brought them out of an emotional state of being and made them more strong and less fearful of the situation, and let them take control of their own emotions in their own environment. So this thing was unable to connect with them anymore, like a two-way radio almost. You change your thinking, you change your frequency, you break the connection with these things. It's like a two-way radio. Now, most of the time it doesn't work, and sometimes it does work, and then it works for a little while, then people revert back to their old way of thinking, because at first it might make them feel confident, might make them feel better, and they're doing everything emotionally right to change their frequency, change their thinking to break that connection, but they revert back to their old ways of thinking. We didn't fix and adjust the root cause of what initiated the haunt to begin with. So we revert back to old ways of thinking. The thing comes back, and when it comes back worse than ever. So I realized that a long time ago that we are direct participants in these negative attachments. We're giving these things what they need. We ring the dinner bell by the emotional state that we're in, and we continue to feed them. And the ultimate goal for us, for them, is for us to be at a fear frequency. And so it's very important that that's what I was getting at with religion. I think some of these religions are just suspect because they kind of like tune us to be exactly what these things need, and it's global, and it's ridiculous. So,
oh yeah, that was heavy there. Now, going back, we were talking before we went on the air that you feel that you have implant or two in your body, and you were mentioning that they something showed up, metal object in your body that even the doctors, kind of brought up to you, and you asked, well, what do you have to do to remove it? And they kind of basically brushed you off. I mean, to have it removed. Can you go into a little bit about that?
Yeah, I had an injury to my hand, and I had it X-rayed, and the assistant comes in, and she looked weird, like she was looking at me really strange, and I'm just looking at her now, strange probably, because I kind of read emotions pretty well, and I'm like, what's happening, and then she finally speaks up, and she goes, she was Asian, so she had a strong accent. She was really funny, but she's like, do you know you have something in your hand? And I said, what? And she goes, in your thumb. There's something in your thumb. She goes, did you know that? And I said, no. And so then I talked to the main person that was taking the X-ray or whatever, and the doctor or whoever it was, and I said, what can we do about getting rid of that going forward? She said, good luck with that. And she just changed the subject. And so I'm not sure about that. I mean, I've been in my 20s, I was a pipe fitter, my early 20s, and then I worked in an office, but for a while I've owned my own remodeling company, so I do different things. I've had hand injuries, and I don't know, maybe there's debris in there, I don't know, but they acted awful really weird. But on my right leg, I definitely have something since I was a child that I always believed, even as a young child, that was put there. And now as an adult, knowing a little bit more, I believe to be an implant. And I've tried to dig it out 3 times, and it just seems to be just under the surface of the skin. But as I start to cut and try to dig towards it, it seems to move away. Like, I don't know, I can't get to it. It's not like I see it moving. It's just like I dig, it's not there, it's not there, it's not there, but yet I can feel it. I know it's there, but I can't get to it. I don't know what's happening, but there is definitely something there that's been there since I was younger. And that is quite common. I know that Dr. Roger Lear with Whitney, for example, he has the implant in his ear. And I remember, Dr. Roger Lear, going and trying to, remove it. And every time he would cut and try to grab that, whatever it was, it would actually move. It would shift. And it would keep shifting, and to the point where he couldn't get it out.
I mean, it's like it did not want to be removed. And that could be something like even in your leg, for example, like if you got that and you try to get to it and it moves or it doesn't want to be found. I don't remember like Timothy Cullen, if his moved around or not. I don't think it did, but I know that Dr. Roger Lear removed his. And by the way, Timothy Cullen is actually listening to the show right now. And I just want to say hi to you, Timothy.
Yeah, hey, Tim.
So,
great. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, mine is, it's just something like, I don't remember anything being done, because like I said, I know for sure that I get taken somewhere a lot. I don't know what happens. I don't have memory of that, and some say you don't want memory of that, but I'm not, I've seen some really bizarre things in my work, because I operate in all the different fields, and I've seen some pretty crazy things. I'm fortunate enough to have this passion for this work and able to be in the middle of some of the top cases out there and things that get me recognized by black helicopters, like I was telling you about earlier. Certain things I talk about on popular radio shows, within hours I get black helicopters above my house. And they don't just fly by. They circle over my house, let me know that they're there. Then they go off in the direction, come back, circle around again. And so I'm operating in some pretty crazy things. But I don't get crazy. I don't jump to conclusions or nothing like that. And there's not too many things that shock me, but,
well, I have to admit, you have certain government agencies that monitor your phone conversations. They monitor what you say, even in your living room if you have a smart TV, or what you say in emails. And that they have a huge building with a lot of people. That's all they do all day long is monitor people. And I heard that from several people. I heard it from a ex-CIA agent, a DOD ex-agent. It's been on my show, the same thing. So, I mean, you get on a list, okay, that they kind of monitor you. So if you start getting, you promote that you're going to be on a certain show, they're monitoring what you say. So I wouldn't be surprised tonight you hear helicopters going over your house.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you, like I've been on shows that are popular and not even as popular as yours, because you got quite the following. But I've been on shows not as popular as yours and have talked about some of my theories on certain matters, shared some photos that I had that are pretty amazing, and not only had the black helicopters over my house, and that's the only time I have them where I live now. That's the only time I see those black helicopters, and they always come in twos, and they've showed up over my place of work. And here's the thing about my work. I'm a self-employed remodeler. I don't work at the same place at any given time, but after I do these shows, they end up over the place that I'm working at, only the place I'm working at, and it could be a different place. Now, I did a show, actually this happened several times over the last 3 years. I did, some popular shows and ended up hours later at work, because I do late night and then a late night show, going to work, and I've had a white van show up. I had one follow me at a supermarket. I had one outside my place of work. The guy at the supermarket had a paper up over his face, but he was looking over the paper, staring at me. And it was really bizarre because when I went into the supermarket, he had pulled up right behind me. I parked, and I was getting some stuff together. He had parked after me. I get out. He was looking over his paper at me. When I got done shopping, I just grabbed a few items, came back out. He was doing the same thing. And instead of going to my car, I started walking right at him, and he peeled out of that place really fast. Now, then I've had a white SUV. That was a white van. Then I've had white SUVs. And recently, it's been a black SUV. And the weird thing about the black SUV is I've owned every I've owned every SUV out there, every make there is. I don't know what this one is. It's weird looking. It's actually cool looking, but I don't know what kind of dang SUV this thing is. And I was at a place. I had just showed up at this place, and I was doing a job, and I was on the 3rd floor, and I was actually looking over the job, and I had not been there that